On here. Check. Okay. Check. Okay, it sounds good. Facebook, YouTube. Why are we not on Facebook? Shalom, Yahweh brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shemal, Athabah, Shem Yahweh to the sisters. Today, as you know, is the Sabbath service. It's the Lord's Day. Give everybody a little bit tuned in. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already. And today, we're going to be covering a few topics today. We're going to be going over addiction, a little bit of what it means to be righteous, and Salakia. What else? Yeah, addiction, righteousness, and Salakia. Self-worth. And the reason why we're going over some of these topics today is because, I don't know if you watch the news, but there's a lot of things that are going on in the world right now. A lot of things. A lot of your so-called leaders getting exposed. We actually spoke about the OnlyFans ban that was supposed to be coming for the sexual content as of October 1st. But it's new news that came out. I'm not gonna give it away just yet. We're gonna be going over that during class, and it just never ceases to amaze me how wickedness always tries to find a way. But as you already been in the truth long enough, you can't stop the Lord's will, man. There's absolutely no stopping that. So you're either gonna get with the program or you're gonna get the hell about it. So I just give everybody a second just to tune in. For some reason we're not on YouTube. Oh no, yeah we are. So, yeah. It's on there now. So-called leaders. Damn. Give everybody just a few more minutes and then we're gonna get started with the prayers. Damn, that's crazy. I'm looking it up right now. Tiger announces OnlyFans exit, new site for explicit content. Damn. We was talking. This is just to show you how wicked this world is, man. If I could, real quick before we get started, we were just bringing up last week about, I know we was getting on the sisters a little bit about, just, and when I say sisters, I'm specifically talking about the sisters who are being whores out in the world right now, who are fighting for this. I guess you could say a right for explicit content. They was big mad about that, and it just goes to show you, like, a lot of these women today have been raised to believe that the only thing you have to offer is what's between your legs. That's your main source of income. Just showing your box, showing your ass, salakia, showing your breasts, showing your body, and doing Lord knows what. But as soon as the Lord was about to take that away, you fought for the right for that. But now I'm finding out it's not just sisters, it's brothers too. Come on, man. Look, if you ain't in class, you need to get in class already, man. Because this world is crumbling, man. Damn. It's called My Star. Damn. Yeah, we definitely gonna be diving into that. The water for that, sis. Good.
Most definitely.
All right. Actually, for the sake of time, you can stick stand.
Oh, yeah.
All right, just me and the brother up here, Elijah. Sorry, face me. Sorry.
La Yasharala.
Sorry, face me. Water. Sorry. Sorry, face me. Imagine upon Yahakwadam, which means to rise and face the east. We're going to begin starting with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. All right, the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat
Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakutka. Tabah. Ratazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Barataza. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Nathanyanawa. Lakam. Call. Yawam. Wasalaknawa. Kabawaknawa. Kasalaknawa. Kabawathinawa. Wala'a. Tabayanawa. Wanasaiwan. Abal. Kawashinawa. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Kamalakwa. Wala Watapara. Wala'anyam. Aman. The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Hakak, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Yahushai,
Babakashah, Nathanyanawa, Hakak, Lapa'ah, Call, Makalah, Wakal, Madawa, Hakak, Latahar, Ha, Matazarayim, Hakak, La'achayim, Hamathiam, Hakak, Al, Rakawaz, Hatama'ala, Lagarasham, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, the water. Amen. Hakak, the power in the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahushai. Wa Ma'aka Allah. Wa Alahayim. Matazab Ya'ab. Alawap Yahana. Ha Alawapyam. Hasaranyam. Hakwatazayoyim. Hakayayoyim. Wa Akwapyam. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahushai. The water. Amen. The blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahushai. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yahana. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah. Ayunya. Ahayim. Mayan. Yaba'ah. Isaiah. Ya'ain. Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Warataza, Ayathan, Namawat, Regalka, All, Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yasham, Shawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazarka, Ayad, Yanyamka, Yanyamam, Yashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Mayarath,
Bala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Makal,
Rai,
Rai,
Yashamar,
Atnapashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Taza'afka,
Taza'afka,
Wawa'afka,
Wawa'afka,
Ma'itha,
Ma'itha,
Wa'ai,
I will. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Lord.
My help cometh from the Lord.
Which made heaven and earth.
Which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee.
He that keepeth thee.
Will not slumber.
Will not slumber.
Behold.
Behold.
He that keepeth Israel.
He that keepeth Israel.
Shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade.
The Lord is thy shade.
Upon thy right hand.
Upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
Nor the moon by night.
Nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee.
The Lord shall preserve
from all evil.
All evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out.
And thy coming in.
And thy coming in.
In this time forth.
In this time forth.
And even forevermore.
And even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew.
Alahayim, all, Ramiyah, Lakah, all, Lakarash, Lashaquat, all, Kaya, Hana, Yebika, Yama, Yawan, Ra'ash, Al, Amaka, Ya'imwa, Sawada, Waita, Watazawa, Al, Tezapawanyaka, Amarwa, Nakawat, Wadakakidim, Magalia, Wala'ah, Yazakar, Shum, Yasharala, Awada, Kaya, Natazawa, Laba, Yakadwa, Ayaka, Bayath, Yakarathwa, Aliyah, Adawam, Wa, Yashamai, Aliyam, Mawa'aba, Wahagorium, Gabal, Wamawan, Wamalat, Palashath, Am Yeshabya, Tazawar, Gum, Ashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labunya, Lawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kamudyan, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayabyam, Banakar, Payashwan, Neshabwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Dama, Banwa, La'a, Dama, Shayatamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kairab, Wakaza'aba, Wakatazor, Manai, Kor, Nasayakwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Narashah, Nalawa, Ath, Naawath, Alahaya, Shayatamwa, Kagogala, Kakwash, Lapunya, Rawaka, Ka'ash, Taba'ira, Ya'ira, Wa, Kalahaba, Talahat, Hahayim, Kun, Daradatma, Basa'iraka, Wabasa, Wapatka, Tabalam, Mala'ah, Panyam, Kalawan, Waya, Bakwashwa, Shamka, Yahweh, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahalwa, Adyai, Waya, Kaparwa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Daiwa, Kaya, Ata, Shamka, Yahweh, Labadka, Alawan, Al, Kal, Ha-Rataza. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
And hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O God.
O God.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult.
Thine enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee, have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel. Against thy people. And consulted. Against thy hidden ones. They have said. Come. And let us cut them off. From being a nation. That the name of Israel. May be no more remembered. For they have consulted together. With one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom. And the Ishmaelites. Of Moab. And the Hagarenes. Gabal. And Ammon. And Amalek. The Philistines. With the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Do unto them. As unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of Kison.
At the brook of Kison.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
And like Zaid.
And like Zaid.
Yea.
Yea.
All their princes as Zabah.
All their princes as Zabah.
And as Zalmunna.
And as Zalmunna.
Who said.
Let
us take to ourselves.
Let us take to ourselves.
The houses of God in possession.
The houses of God in possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As a stubble before the wind.
As a stubble before the wind.
As the fire burneth they wood.
And as the fire burneth the wood.
And as the flame set the mountains on fire.
And as the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them. With thy tempest.
With thy tempest.
And make them afraid.
Make them afraid.
With thy storm.
With thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Lord.
O Lord.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And troubled. Forever.
Forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
That
men may know.
That
thou. Whose name alone. Is Yahweh. Art the most high. Over all the earth.
Over all the earth. South face me.
Hey, Shalom on Christ.
Hey, Shalom on Christ. What's going on, Rob?
It's like I got
what's going on?
Shalom, okay.
All right, let's clap it up for the Most High.
All right.
All right, so today we're going to be going over Deuteronomy chapter 10, right?
Deuteronomy chapter, you can.
Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12 through 19. As you know, we do the 7 verses in the Hebrew, then we go over in the English, and we give a breakdown. So the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12.
Verse 12. So let me get to it. We got a good one today. I think we got a good one. So like, yeah. Okay, here we go. Verse 12. Verse 12. There we go. I'm gonna read it in Hebrew real quick.
You can read it in English after. You could, Baba Kasha? Water.
Okay. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, and verse 12 in the Hebrew. Wa'ai thaya yasha ra'ala ma. So like yasha ra'ala maha yaha waha ala ha yara sha'ala ma'ai mara kaya asaya laya ra'aha ataya Yahweh ha Allah ha yara la ta ka baka laya dara kaya wala haba ha ata wala I bara ata waha ala haya ra bakala ya la ba wabakala napa shara lasha mara ataya mataza wath Yahweh wa'ata ha ha ka kwa ha kwata ya yawa ashara ana kaya sa ta salaki ma taza wara haya wam lata waba la ra haza laya ha waha ala ha ya ra hasha mayam washa mayam hasha mayam ha rataza wakala ya shara ya baha it's like it ra kwa hasha mayam it's like it. I think I wrote that already. Yeah. Bata yara kasha kwa yaha waha la haba ha awa tam batayam hasha kwa waya batara baza ra I'm acha raya hum bakam sha sa ma ka la ha I mayam baya wam wa haza ha wama la thumb atam ira la tha laba lab bakam wa ira pakam la the quashra I would die kaya yahawaha alaha ya kwam hawa alahaya lahayam wa'ada naya yaha waha alahai ya come hawa alahaya laha yam wa'ada naya dana yam ala haga Haga Dala, Haga Bara, Waha Nawa Ra'a, Ashara, La'a Yasha'a, Panayam, Wala'a, Yapa, it's like a Yakwa Ka, Shaka, what Shakada, I Shaha, La'a, Sha'a, Panayam, Wala'a, Yakwa Yakaka. So I got the same line again. Masha Pata. Tayam Tawan Ala Mabaha Ahaba Gara Lata Tala Ya Tala Wa Khama Washa Malaha. That's it.
That's it. Let's clap it up. All right, so we're going to be going over the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12. You got that, Crowd Shop?
Oh, God. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12. And risen between Nineveh and Calah. The same is a great city.
Oh, Salaki. Verse 12 for chapter 10, Deuteronomy?
Chapter 10, verse 12.
Oh,
no, it's all right. Just let me know when you get there.
Okay. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 10.
Oh, 10, verse 12. Salakia.
Oh, okay. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, with what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
Keep reading.
To keep the commandments.
Keep the what?
To keep the commandments.
Okay, go ahead.
Of the Lord.
Okay.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of the heavens is the Lord's thy God. The earth also, with all that therein is. Verse 15. Only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them.
Now, you can stop right there real quick. So, just to give a quick breakdown on that, we go over this literally like every single class. You know, I'm going to say it every single time. I know it sounds redundant, but, you know, for any new brothers and sisters that come into the truth, God does not love everybody. I'm going to say it one more time for you. God does not love everybody. It says right here. Could you read that from the top one more time, Robin Shot, verse 15?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 15. Only the Lord has I delight in thy fathers to love them. And he chose their seed after them. And he chose their seed after them. Even you above all people, as it is this day.
So you can stop right there. You can see right there. You know, we always talk about our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, we are the seed of our father. You know, Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel. That's why we go by Israelites. Okay. You know, for anybody who wants to debate about that, I mean, there ain't really much of a debate, honestly, because it says it right here in the scriptures. But right here, you know, this is Deuteronomy we reading out of, right? So, you know, this is letting you know that you are a special people, okay? And right here, you know, we were told to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, well, what does this have to do with addiction, being righteous, or integrity, right? your character. Now, if I could backtrack real quick, we were explaining who is Esau. Now, I said that Jacob was a plain man. That didn't necessarily mean like physically. That meant his character. Because who more chill than Israel?
Right.
Like, what do we want to do all day? Like, we just want to hang out with the Akim. Sisters want to chill with the sisters. We just want to vibe, chill, cook. That's all we really want to do. If you really think about it, we really don't want no smoke with anybody. We just trying to be in our nation. But, we always getting messed with.
Right.
Usually it's Esau. But, it wasn't just Esau. It's these other heathens, too. The Egyptians, when Pharaoh had us into captivity. Everybody's always trying to take a pick at us. Why is this important? Let's focus on, let's start with addiction. If you got anything on that.
Oh, yeah, Khan. Okay, so, okay. Addiction, if we can get into addiction real quick. Addiction is something that our oppressors have been using on us for so long, you know what I'm saying, to destroy us, you know what I'm saying? It's been destroying our communities. It's been destroying our nation, you know what I'm saying? Us being productive, us doing anything as far as, getting into serving the Lord again. You know what I'm saying? Addiction is a weapon. You know what I'm saying? So you got to in order to beat a weapon, you have to understand it. You have to understand your enemy in order to beat them. You know what I'm saying? So we're going into addiction today, so we can open up the eyes of our brothers and sisters to let you know, like, that you may be facing addiction. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people have an issue with, getting into the truth as far as the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana, because they're battling addiction and they don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? So instead of them facing the fact that they can't stop smoking weed, they'll try to find anything that they can use as far as like conspiracy against us. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that. We have to understand that you have to understand that you may be under some type of addiction that is hindering you from being able to give your life wholeheartedly to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So let's understand addiction. Okay, so addiction, the reason why we were going through, Deuteronomy 10 and verse 12 is because Moses is giving us the steps on living righteously. Right. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing goes for living righteously. The same thing goes for stepping into addiction. It doesn't, you don't get addicted to weed by that first blunt. You know what I'm saying? You don't get addicted to crack by that first pipe hit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's some things that may, put you in addiction on the first try, like heroin and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like things that take hold of the body. You know what I'm saying? And the body needs it after a while to even survive. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. There's some things that probably might get you on the first, but it's rare. You know what I'm saying? Usually you have to step into addiction. You know what I'm saying? And there's steps into walking into an addiction as well as there's steps into walking into being righteous. You know what I'm saying? So let's go into the steps of being addicted. First of all, you need some type of influence. You know what I'm saying? A person you look up to, a person that you see as, someone close to you. You see what they do. And monkey see, monkey do. You know what I'm saying? So when you don't just step in, you don't just walk up to a cigarette and just say, "Oh, I'm gonna smoke it." No. You have to be programmed into it. You have to see somebody that and they do it, and they start influencing you to do it. You know what I'm saying? Right. If you a cigarette smoker, you around cigarette smokers, and then you eventually start smoking cigarettes. You know what I mean? It's not just, you don't just hop into just, I'm gonna start smoking cigarettes. I'm just be a cigarette head. There's always a reason, right? Right. It's always an influence. That's the first step. The first step is the influence. You know what I'm saying? Opening you up to the idea of trying it. Right. The next step is trying it. You know what I'm saying? The next step is actually physically doing it. Now, that's not going to lead you into addiction also. You're going to keep doing it. You're going to keep doing it to the point where it becomes repetition. You know what I'm saying? It becomes repetition, and then it becomes something that is a routine. You know what I mean? Routine is the next step. Repetition, then routine. It becomes a routine. You start to do it at a certain schedule, at a certain time, at a certain day. Could be every day. You could do it in the afternoon. Like you could do it in the morning when you wake up. And if you around people who do it consistently, you're gonna end up doing it consistently like them. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's drinking, being an alcoholic, whether that's being a weed head, a crackhead, right. you're gonna eventually be on their schedule, right. or be on a routine schedule. That routine schedule leads you into addiction.
Right.
So it goes from you being open to do it, to you doing it, to you doing it consistently, to you having to have to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like, if I could real quick, not to cut you off, like, you know what the crazy thing is?
Right.
You don't have to do it.
Right.
But the thing is, you feel
right.
like you have to do it. So, like, before we continue with Deuteronomy, Kramashah, can you give me 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, Baba Kasha? You know, and what you brought up, like, was a real heavy point, too. Like, addiction is just one of the many weapons that our oppressors have used against our
right.
people for generations. You know, if I could talk about that real quick, like, okay, well, we're gonna get into the whole OnlyFans and these sexual content and all that stuff in a minute. So before I even get into that, these women, usually it ends up being a young woman, right? You know, like predators, right? Predators usually don't go for the big, strong, masculine, like, you know, head in charge. Like, for example, okay, let's talk about like a predator in, like, let's say like in Africa or something. Let's say like a lion. Let's keep it simple, a lion, right? Let's say they hunting an elephant. You think they're gonna go for the big bull elephant? Hell no, they're not gonna do that. They go for the weak. They go for the timid, the weak, the young. That's who they go for. Okay, and a lot of times our sisters, especially our sisters, are targeted very young to be sexualized. And you don't realize it, but a lot of these prostitutes, these sex workers, these sisters who give into this OnlyFans, not all of them, but probably a lot more than what you would realize, they get into this because they were sexualized at a very, very young age.
Right,
and it's not even just the lust. Like, these pimps,
right.
like, before OnlyFans was even like a thing, like, I remember being back home, and like it was one time, it was some police officers came into our classroom and they was talking to us about how, you know, young girls, you know, as young as like middle school, elementary school even, were kidnapped, right? This is what they were doing. They wouldn't just rape them. No, they would drug them up, like you brought up earlier, like meth, crack. You know, they'll get their body hooked on that addiction. Like, I need this drug
right.
in order to survive. And sometimes they would lock them in a room by themselves and just let them go crazy. So if they ever tried to flee, they would always want to come back. So now you're not just enslaving her body, you're enslaving her mind.
Right.
Okay? That's how our oppressor just gets our sisters alone. Like, if I could you get 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8?
The book of 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because you're an adversary, the devil.
The who?
The devil.
Go ahead.
As a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
You hear that right there?
That's heavy.
The Lord's showing you right there. Like, this is why you got to overcome that addiction, man. Like,
right.
like, if I could, like, we talked about this like a few classes ago. Like drinking is not a sin, right?
Right.
Like, you could have a couple beers with the Akim and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But see, being a drunkard, you know, you're an what they call it, an active alcoholic.
Right.
That can lead into sin, because now you're not sober. You're not vigilant.
Right.
Okay. So now, you know, the oppressor, like, it's so easy for him to pick you off now. Right. And not just the oppressor, these wicked people out here, just in general, for Satan to get you. All right. You might be like, when you sober, you might be able to fight whatever it is, whatever demon that you got going on. All brothers and sisters are different. Like, you know, some, you know, they might have had a sex addiction, you know, but when they sober, they know how to, you know, keep it on lock. There might be some people who used to be, I gotta be careful with this term now, you know, homosexuals, but guess what? They might be able to fight that. You might have some brothers with some anger issues, you know, maybe some PTSD. Same thing with sisters, you know, whatever it is that you might have. But when you're sober, you know, you're in the right spirit, you're in the right mind frame to battle it, because you're conscious. When you're not, when you're high as hell, when you're, like you brought up earlier, which is a great point too, when you're hanging around wickedness, right? It's like you pretty much like exposing yourself onto Satan. You know, like, for example, I don't smoke weed, I don't smoke cigarettes, so why would I want to be around somebody that smokes weed and smokes cigarettes. If I'm around them, kind of like what you said, monkey see, monkey do. Like it's the influence. I'm hanging around them. I'm smelling it. I'm watching the motion of them lighting up the cigarette, putting it in their mouth. You know, I'm watching it so much, and it's gonna be that one day. That one day, you know, you might have had a hard day at the slave. You know, you might be having issues with the fam or whatever. You might just be stressed out, and you know, you finally just give in. What you got, Swap?
I just want to talk about with that influence too. Like that's one thing the white man uses, and he uses our weak men. That's taken to like the movie aspect, making movies or rappers.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
They glorify that type of living for our people, you know, and it's real deadly. It's real deadly reality for people falling to that. They think they're getting highs and thing, and they want to be rappers, and they got to do this and that to look like that. You know what I'm saying? I was influenced by the Thug Life era. You see Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Death Row, or whoever, whatever submitted, even on movies. You catch them smoking cigarettes, over drinking, you know what I'm saying, or smoking weed, and some do harder drugs, you know, live like a rock star. That's a death sentence. They just want that lifestyle, and if you give any junkie too much money, they want to kill themselves, and they know that. So they will beat you up to make that lifestyle look good, and it's not. It's ultimately to kill you, and they know it. They know it, and that's why they give it to you, because they want to kill you.
Damn.
If I may too, like, what he said was heavy because it all starts off as that era. This is why our oppressors are the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can go back and you can start seeing the eras of time that were happening, of what was making what was the normal thing that was leading us into wickedness. You know what I'm saying? There was a crack era.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There was a cigarette era when cigarettes was being pushed into commercials and movies, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all old enough to remember, but it was a time period when I was, you know what I mean, you had the ice cream trucks, they had the packed little candy cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's so they were influencing you at a young age to this smoke cigarettes, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? You had the women and the men smoking in the cars with the windows rolled up while the kids was just sitting in the back seat. You know what I'm saying? At that time period, they didn't know that cigarettes eventually give you cancer. They didn't know that, but eventually it came out to the point where, and it was already too late.
Right.
It was already too late. You know what I'm saying? Once it came out that cigarettes might be, you know what I mean, a death, pretty much a suicide. You know what I'm saying? Pretty a suicide death, like. It was already too late for you. You were already in that addiction already. You know what I'm saying? Because you were influenced to be into that. So that was super heavy because we have eras. We got the lean era right now. We got the Percocet and prescription pill era too. You know what I'm saying? People are getting they know they're getting it to the norm of what's happening, and then they eventually start seeing the repercussions to it. You know what I'm saying? But
Salagi, if I could you go back to Deuteronomy chapter 10, and could you start at verse 16, Baba Kasha? And what the brothers bringing out is like absolutely 100% facts, man. Like that influence, you know, like today, like I know we spoke about it a little bit, but like, you know, you go on TV, like you see all this crazy stuff, like, you know, the OnlyFans, the Lil Nas X, like this ain't nothing new, you know, by the way, this ain't nothing new. Like Swap brought up earlier, you know, did like your music videos, like women shaking their behind and getting half naked on music videos. That's been a thing for forever. Man. You know, brothers glorifying selling drugs. Now it's taking drugs. You know, before it was, you know, brothers just being drug dealers, but now they rap about they want to get high. They want to live, like you said, that rock star life. They want to pop pills. They want to pop Molly, Xanax, whatever it is. And the crazy thing is, we know what it leads to. Right. It's not a secret. We've had so many brothers and sisters die, or just at least had their lives ruined because of drugs. Right. I know the most recent one was DMX, right, but let's not forget about, you know, Whitney Houston. Right. You know, let's not forget, like this has always been a thing in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community, right? We always, like, even our Hispanic brothers and sisters, like, you know, they, you know, you see all these shows about like Pablo Escobar and, like, you know, the cartel and all that, and they man, you know, you ever heard that term? No, don't get high off your own supply.
Mm-hmm.
They do that.
Right.
Like they getting high as they sell it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But it looks so great because you know you got the women, you got the money, you got the cars, you got the clothes. It's like, damn, I got all these material things that I'm doing. It looks so appealing. That's how the oppressor gets you. Like, what was it? Psalms 55:21. His words were as smooth as butter, but war was in his heart.
Right.
You know, that is like the key definition of not just, I'm gonna just say oppressors, just other nations in general, right? They have a way of making something seem so appealing to us as a people, not realizing, you know what? No, I take that back. Before we didn't realize it killed us. Now it's so bad, we do know that it kills us, and we still do it.
Right.
Because that lust, that addiction, you know, whatever it is, like it's like the overcoming urge to fulfill your flesh, you know, and it gets to a point now we don't even give a damn anymore. We don't have a. I'm not saying we, but I'm saying like as a community right now, you know, overall, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, we forgot what righteousness is. We forgot what integrity actually means. All right.
Hey, shalom, sis. What's going on?
It's like, cool.
If I may too, go real quick, like, you know what I mean, if we can get back to verse 12 real quick, if you can read me at verse 12, Ramashak, Baba Kashaw.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12. And now, Israel, what do the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve him with thy God.
So if we can go to that, okay. If I can real quick. So we got the 12-step program, right? I'm just gonna get into a couple, you know what I'm saying, that these are this is the 12-step program that Esau has made in order to get addicts off of, you know what I mean, whether if it's alcohol, drugs, real quick. So, you know what I mean, the first step for them is admission, then it's recognition, then it's submission, then it's understanding, then it's confession, then it's readiness, then it's humility, then it's reparation, then it's apology, then it's integrity, then it's meditation, and then it's awakening. Now, for us, you know what I'm saying, we got a little something different, you know what I'm saying, because their first step is what? It's admission. It's just admitting to the fact that you're an alcoholic, or you're a crackhead, or you're you know what I mean, you're admitting to the fact, and it's recognition, you owning up to it. That's who I am, you know what I'm saying? Same thing. Submission, you submit to the fact that you destroyed your life, you know what I'm saying? Understand how you got into the position, you know what I'm saying? Confession, you speak it, you know what I'm saying? You say the things that you've done. Readiness, preparing yourself for the next step. Humility, humbling yourself, you know what I'm saying? Reparation, all that. It's all that steps. Now, this is what Moses is doing, because we don't need all those steps here in Israel. You know what I'm saying? Here in Israel, we already know, when stepping into this truth, that we are sinners. It don't matter what sin you've done. It could be the lowest to the highest. You could have been outright. You could have just been the utmost, just horrible person in the world. You know what I'm saying? Paul was at a certain time period. He ended up being, you know what I mean, following Christ wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? So we already know, regardless of whatever our situation is, we're walking into this situation sinners. So it's no point of recognizing or admitting or anything like that. We know it already. So we can just get down to the first step, which is the first step, which Moses said in chapter 12, which is what? Fear the Lord. That's the first step. Because if you don't fear the Lord, you're not going to stop nothing.
Oh, that's facts.
If you don't have fear for the Lord, you won't stop a damn thing. If you don't know how terrible of a power that the Lord could be, you won't stop anything, because you're not thinking of consequence. You know what I'm saying? You're just thinking about the outcome. You know what I'm saying? So the outcome is more so on your perspective than more so than what the Most High is capable of doing to you. You could die after that first cigarette. You know what I'm saying? You could die after that first cigarette. The Most High could kill you after that first cigarette. You could have accidentally inhaled the cherry, smoking the weed, and then it just choke you to death.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The Lord could be terrible, and you need to understand that he could be terrible. He can cause evil to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? The Lord makes good, and he makes evil. So he can cause some evil to happen to you right then and there. Every time when you pick up that blunt and you put it to your mouth, you playing with the Most High's grace right there. You know what I'm saying? Every time when you sit up and you acting a fool out there in them streets, you know what I'm saying? Just doing what the heathens do. You playing with the Most High's grace right there. And it's going to come a time where the Most High then going to get irritated, and he's going to get tired of waiting for you. And then he's going to have to, you know what I mean? He either going to cause something to happen to you, someone around you, or he's going to just pretty much wipe you up out of there, take you out. He has no possibilities of following me, so I'm just going to have to take him out. So you have to understand what the Most High is capable of. And that goes from the first step, which is fearing the Lord. Now, you won't do anything at all unless you fear the Lord. You're not going unless you know the consequences of how the Lord could discipline you for what you're doing. You're not going to stop anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first step, and the second step was what?
Fear the Lord.
The first step and the second step was Salakia. Keeping the Lord's commandments. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of bundles into like everything that you were doing. That's kind of like with the step program, like they're talking about readiness. Like you have to following the Lord's commandments is pretty much saying go cold turkey. You know what I mean? Go cold turkey and do away with all those things that you were doing in the world and just turn away from them completely. You can't just try to slowly but surely work your way to it. You gotta, you know what I mean? That fear of the Lord should cause you to just stop. Just stop it. Don't even try to, because as you try to subtly do it, you start to become more fond of it, and then you do it a lot more than what you were doing.
And that's Satan speaking in your ear, right?
Right. So you have to cold turkey walk away from it completely. You have to walk away. The people who influence you, you have to walk away from whatever it is. You got to walk away from that cigarette shop. You know what I'm saying? You got to walk away from that weed shop. You know what I'm saying? You got to walk away. You got to walk away completely. If I can. So did you have that precept that in Matthews?
I'll let him go get it. And after that, we'll continue with Deuteronomy.
Come on.
I'll let Swap get the precept first.
So
Matthew chapter 9, verse 17. Neither do men put new wine into old bottles, else the bottles break, and the wine runneth out, and the bottles perish. But they put new wine into new bottles, and both are preserved.
Slakia. So if I may, real quick, you can't come doing the same stuff you was doing and trying to walk and please the Most High.
Right.
When you come to please the Most High, you need to be, you know what I mean? You can't put, like the brother said, you can't put new wine into old bottles. Right. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, the bottle could break.
Exactly.
You have to put new wine into new bottles. So you have to come as new. You have to come with new routines. You have to come in with a new mentality. You can't come with the same addiction trying to balance out serving the Lord and balance out serving the world. You gotta do away with the world completely. You know what I'm saying? You have to put new wine into new bottles. You know what I'm saying? You have to be new.
Slakia, if I could, because I'm glad y'all brought that precept out, because that is such a heavy precept, and I feel like that one gets looked over a lot. Like if I could, real quick, I don't got no water or anything in these cups right now, but you know, for anybody who needs like a further breakdown of this, like let's say this is the old you right here. Let's say this is filled with whatever type of wickedness you got going on, right? And this cup is filled with the righteousness that the Lord is trying to put into you.
Right.
If you don't dump that old you out and you try to fill yourself up with which is supposed to be the new you can't. It's gonna overflow.
Right.
Now you trying to mix the bad with the good, but the thing is the bad is still in there. You gotta, like you said, you gotta quit cold turkey. You know, you can't come in here You know, and trust me, I know it's going to be hard, but you know, it's the Lord is with you. Okay, if the Lord is seeing that you are willing to deny your flesh, the Lord is going to be with you. Right. You can't come in here and come into the truth and, you know, still be sometimes smoking weed on the low, or, you know, whatever. It could be any sin. It could be any addiction that you may have. You still can't be doing it on the low because you haven't fully gotten rid of it.
Right.
You know, the Lord he can only help you so much, but you still dwelling on to that old you, that old man, that old self, and that addiction that you lust after so much. The Lord trying to give you the good, but the bad's still in there. So you got to chuck it out.
That's heavy.
You got to chuck it all out.
Heavy.
So then you can get all the good.
Right.
And then once you get the good, keep it.
Right.
Because once you dump that out, the bad won't come back in.
And once you try to put some bad into that, you're what's it, contaminating. You know what I mean?
You
contaminate
you're polluting yourself.
Yeah, you polluting yourself.
You know?
But so like if I may, Karama Shak, if you can real quick, give me 1 Corinthians 5 and 7, real quick.
Oh, Slav, you want to finish up on Deuteronomy?
Yeah. I just wanted to get this out the way real quick because I know it's probably gonna take like 10 minutes because I don't want to take too much time out of the class. So if I can, just let me get this one out and then we can. I just wanted to get into the step program that of comparing. You know what I mean? Getting into addiction, but also walking into righteousness. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Moses is giving you the steps of walking into righteousness. You know what I'm saying? That's our step program. First, we need to fear the Lord. Then we need to follow his commandments. You know what I'm saying? This is our step program. And it's not, we don't need 12 steps. Well, we only need a few minor steps. You know what I'm saying? But first, our first step is fearing the Lord. You got that, corrupt? All right. 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. But this is going what we're speaking about, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, having new bottle, the emptying out the old and bringing in, you know what I mean, coming with a new bottle. You can't come in with the old bottle and it's like it. I'm over here trying to paraphrase, and I'm over here. But go ahead, Karab.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7. Purge out, therefore, the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump,
right?
As ye are unleavened. For even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast.
Oh, so like it. That's verse 8. Yeah. Keep going on verse 8. Matter of fact, before you go on verse 8, it says, "Purge out, therefore, the old leaven." Same thing with, you know what I mean, doing away with the old bottle. You know what I'm saying? It's the same type of metaphor. You know what I'm saying? Purge out the old leaven, because leaven is what? You know what I mean? Something that rises. You know what I'm saying? When you have an addiction, you have not just one addiction, you have multiple addictions. One addiction leads into another addiction. That, you know what I mean? It all leads to living in the world and being wicked. You know what I'm saying? Now, the Lord is saying, purge out all of that wickedness about you. You know what I'm saying? Right. Purge out all that leaven. You know what I'm saying? And become as unleavened. Unleavened is like, you know what I mean? Like how we got like flatbread, like tortillas and stuff like that. Like it's not puffed up. You know what I mean? It doesn't have anything in it. It's just flat, and you know what I mean? Purge out all that wickedness and then bring in the new leaven. You know what I'm saying? Right. Bring in the new leaven. You're bringing in all that new righteous stuff, and you're making that into a habit. I was going to get into that too. But go ahead and go do verse 8 real quick, and I'm gonna get my point up out the way real quick.
1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 8. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
Right. So you want to purge out all that wickedness, and you want to live a life of sincerity and truth. You know what I'm saying? You want to be honest about yourself. Don't walk around saying, "Oh yeah, well, I mean, I at least I did this, and I mean, I do this a little bit still, but you know what I mean, I got rid of the big stuff, that the real big wickedness that I used to do." Like, no, the Lord is saying, get rid of all that stuff. Get rid of everything. You know what I mean? In order to live righteously, you have to get rid of all that wickedness. You know what I'm saying? So get rid of that old leaven and bring in the new. So if I can get back into the step program, the Moses in Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12, he's given us the step program. We're going to get back to that real quick. But these are the steps of living righteously other than living in the ways of being unrighteous. Now, we got into addiction. Addiction, it takes steps into getting into an addiction. You know what I mean? I explained those earlier. You know what I'm saying? The same way it takes steps to being addicted, it's the same steps you need to take into living righteously. Living righteously is going to be a day in and day out situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not just going to just walk in righteousness right away. You're gonna have to literally it has to be your new habit. Just like you had a habit of smoking cigarettes and a habit of smoking weed and a habit, and you just had to consistently keep doing it in order to get that addiction. You have to make living righteously a habit also. If I can get Psalms 1 and 2 real quick, and I'm gonna end it off with that. I'm gonna end my point off with that. Making the Lord your habit. You have to keep the Most High on your brain every day, all day, and all night. You know what I'm saying? Everything you do in life should lead into your decision. Every decision you make should lead into what decision can I make to that is righteous to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Captain Quam, he got into this on the radio show. You know what I'm saying, recently, and he's saying, like, he said, in order for me to make right decisions, I have to think what is pleasing to the Lord before I make any decision. That's being a man. You know what I'm saying? So in everything and all things you do, you should always make a decision on serving the Lord. Let me get that real quick, Ramashot.
The book of Psalms, chapter 1, verse 2. But his delight is in the law of the Lord.
Right.
And in his law do he meditate day and night.
Day and night. Let's go.
And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water.
Okay, so you have to keep the Lord on your mind day and night. Day and night. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll start to develop a habit of living righteously. Living righteously could be a habit also. It's a righteous habit, though. It's a righteous addiction. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To be addicted to the scriptures, to be addicted to the living the way that Christ wants you to live. That's a righteous addiction. That's a righteous habit. You know what I'm saying?
If I make a quick comment real quick, would you bring, like, this is I like what you did here. Like, this is the step program for Hebrews.
Right.
I like what you did. And this is so heavy. Like, General Muhammad brought this up before. Like, life is about warfare. Now, warfare doesn't necessarily mean, you just out here just, fighting people. That's not what that means. It's your mind. It's your spirit. All right. Like you said, every single day you make a conscious decision whether to do good or whether to do evil. Okay. And whatever choice you make, there's going to be, I don't want to say repercussions, because if you're making good choices, there's not going to be any repercussions. But if you're doing evil, even if it's on a low, like you said, like you don't want to tempt the Most High. You get my point? Like, you've been smoking weed or being actually, I'll get to the main one real quick. Being a sexual deviant your whole life, it could be that one. It could be you just one whore away from catching AIDS, from catching syphilis, from getting chlamydia.
Right.
Being a sexual deviant, and it's not even just that. If I can dive in just a little deeper onto that real quick, I feel like this doesn't get talked about enough. We're talking about addiction, right?
Right.
We talked about the most obvious ones, smoking weed, doing drugs, stuff like that, and obviously being a sexual deviant is also an addiction too. Pornography. I know some people don't like to say it, but I'll speak for you. That's fine. If you watch pornography, that is an addiction. If I could, real quick, that's a fact. I'm actually gonna let me see real quick. I actually had it pulled up. There's two. The brain saliva. Just one moment. Okay, so this is a definition, right? So the question was, how does porn rewire the brain? It says right here, porn scenes, like addictive substances, are hyper-stimulating triggers that lead to unnaturally high levels of dopamine secretions. For anybody who doesn't know, like, dopamine is actually a natural chemical that you have in your brain when you're sexually aroused. But it's normal, though, okay? There's nothing wrong with that, naturally. But the thing is, when you watch pornography, first and foremost, pornography is a sin. Because, first of all, I I've seen some brothers that try to argue this, or they're just looking at the woman. There is a man's rod in there, man.
Right.
You are willingly watching a naked man, and you don't realize it, but you are rewiring your brain to become sexually aroused by watching people have sex.
Right.
Now, it seems harmless, like we was bringing up earlier. Like addiction, at first, it seems harmless.
Right.
The thing is, though, I'm gonna read a little bit more. This can damage the dopamine reward system and leave it unresponsive to natural sources of pleasure. Look, I'm just gonna come out real quick and say what it is. All right. I'll speak for brothers, right? If you're watching pornography, that alone is a sin. But if you're addicted to it, let's say you got a rib and it's time to get busy, guess what? The man downstairs, he ain't ready to go. Guess what? He ain't never ready to go. You want to know why? You've rewired your brain to become addicted to sexual content. This ties into your OnlyFans. This is why I'm so against OnlyFans, because it seems harmless, right? Oh, it's just women, doing sexual things on camera. They're not hurting anybody. Do you know that there are marriages that have failed because of a pornography addiction, not just with men, but with women? That doesn't get talked about enough. This is why OnlyFans. Oh, and I know a sister brought up something earlier. Tyga is coming out with a new platform. We were just talking about this last week. Like the urge to be a sexual deviant, or should I say the addiction to being a sexual deviant, is so strong within our community. We just can't say no. I thought it was just going to be the sisters, and don't get me wrong, the sisters that are, I'm just going to call it what they are, they're whores, the ones that are given into this mindset. Priest Captain Godalhart and Kwame All, they brought up a very heavy point during One West Radio. They said that Salakia, y'all gave hoes a voice. Like, for real. Like, all they had to do was whine and complain, and then, now all of a sudden, OnlyFans is like, well, we'll hold off on the ban on October 1st. But it's like, why didn't you put your foot down? Why? Because you want to know why? The urge to be a whore, the urge for sexual content, the addiction is so great that they can't live without it. They need it. They feel like they can't do anything else without it. What you got, Krama Shop?
That's a lot, sir, because what you're saying is so heavy. Also, the dopamine, just to piggyback off what you were saying about that, you get triggered by cigarettes and
yeah, and it destroys your brains too.
Right.
Like, that heavy as hell, because having that, not only are you destroying yourself, but you're also creating a fantasy of what your ribs should be like. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, it's not like that when you're in the bedroom with your rib. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta be. The way that they do it is scripted. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? They get paid to do that scene. It's like watching a movie. So you would think that, okay, when I'm with my rib, this is just how it's supposed to be. This is a fantasy that I want, and this is how it's supposed to be. But it's more. It should be more intimate than that. It should be more of a bonding experience when you physically with your rib. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it should be more like, you guys are connecting, like connecting as one.
It's supposed to be a righteous thing. Like that's a woman, But when you watch that type of stuff, Salaki, for the sake of time, we'll just get back on track. Let's finish up with Deuteronomy if we could real quick. Could you go to Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 16, if you could, Baba Shah?
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 16. Circumcise, therefore, the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For the Lord your God is God of gods.
So circumcising, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a metaphor. Circumcising your heart, you know what I'm saying? Which you shedding that stuff up off you. You know what I'm saying? You cutting that stuff up off your spirit. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to break that down. Go ahead, Karab. You good, man?
Verse 17. For the Lord your God is God of gods, and Lord of lords, a great God, and a mighty and terrible.
A what?
And mighty and a terrible.
Ooh, okay. Go ahead.
Which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward.
If I could just chime in real quick. This goes back to what you were saying before. Like, the Lord can do good, but the Lord can do evil too. Like, you know, the Lord can be a terrible God if he wants to. That's why you should never tempt the Most High.
Right.
You know, because these addictions that we're talking about, these are evil spirits, man. These are evil spirits that are being placed upon you because you chose to turn your back on the Most High.
Right.
We talk about it a little bit every class, but I cannot preach this enough. I want brothers and sisters to understand what it really means when you turn your back on the Most High. Like, we think like breaking a small law is nothing. That's the problem with our people. Like, when we think of like, let's think about like murder. Like murder, that's just like, oh man, like you kill somebody, like that's a sin. But then when you think of celebrating a birthday, you don't think like it correlates with the two. It's kind of like, well, you know, I just celebrated a birthday. You know, I'm not hurting nobody, but you're celebrating a pagan holiday, which is a sin.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's a small sin or a sin that we may think that is just like the worst of all. A sin is a sin. Through and through, okay? That's how the Lord sees it. That's how you should see it. Salaki, if you can continue verse 18 and 19, we'll just wrap that up with Deuteronomy, move on from that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 18. He do execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger, and giving him food and raiment. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt.
You got that for verse 19?
For verse 19 or what?
The love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Oh yeah, so you know what I mean, it's what was I saying again? It was more so about, you know what I mean, it wasn't the Egyptians' fault of why we were in captivity. You know what I mean? They had us captive, but it wasn't their fault. It was our fault because we were serving their gods. We turned away from the Most High. So you know what I mean? You can't look at the Egyptians like, oh yeah, the Egyptians, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? The Egyptians, they did this and that and those, and they did this and that. No. You have to look at yourself like, you know what I'm saying? It was my fault. I shouldn't have served that golden calf. I shouldn't have served those Egyptian gods.
Right. I
should have stayed to my God, and I should have stayed to what I knew was my power. You know what I mean? My power is the Most High. The Most High following his statutes and his commandments. Now my
fault. Salaki, problem shot. Could you give me Luke chapter 16 verse 10, Baba Shah? My fault. Go ahead.
Oh, but yeah. So it's you couldn't look at the Egyptians like, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna kill them and I hate them because it was our fault. You know what I'm saying? We had to take responsibility within that situation. You know what I'm saying? We had to take responsibility. It was our fault of as it is today. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that our oppressors this day didn't do too much, because he has to face judgment of what he did.
Most
definitely. You know what I'm saying? He could have just enslaved us, had us working for him, building his nation, and just left it at that. But no, he raped us. He robbed us. He murdered us consistently, and he tortured us. And he did too much. He did way too much. Absolutely. And he has to face judgment for that. Now, us being into that captivity, that was because we decided to not serve the Most High. You know what I'm saying? That's our fault.
Right. That's what led us in there in the first place.
Right. So, you know what I mean? We can't sit there and say, oh yeah, because our oppressors this and that, and our oppressors this and that. Nah, we put ourselves in a position to be captive. We put ourselves in a position to be you know what I mean, to be a slave, to be on the bottom of a different nation, you know what I'm saying, or of a heathen nation. That's pretty much all I got on that.
I just wanted to say, like, what you bringing out is so heavy, because that ties into to the next thing we got to get into. You know, what we talk about righteousness all the time, right? We always talk about being righteous. What does it really mean to be righteous, though? If you could read Luke chapter 16, verse 10, Baba Kashah, Ramshah.
The book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 10. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much.
So this kind of ties back into what I was talking about before when it comes to the law. Like, you can't look at, eating pork as something that is just so minuscule as compared to something like rape or murder. Transgressing the transgressing the law is sin. Sin is sin. That's it. Okay? If you're sinning, you're sinning. No matter what it is, if it goes against the law, it goes against the law. Okay? But if I can dive in a little bit more, it says that he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. The key thing about that is you come into this truth, right? Like for us, me, Natazak, Rob, Mashak, Sawab, all the brothers and sisters in the school, everybody in the truth, we believe in the Most High wholeheartedly. But the thing is, as a community, as of right now, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community, the truth is, a lot of our brothers and sisters don't really believe in the Most High. Right. They want to believe in other things. So if you can take this, if you believe in even the small things, like not eating pork, not harming your brother, not getting tattoos. Here's a law for y'all right now. Did y'all know that, brothers are not supposed to, they're not to curve and mar the edges of their hair? But I know brothers, we've been raised up to get them lineups all our lives. I get it, man. I get it. Edge up the beard and, I get it. But in the law, it actually says not to do that, But it seems so small, right? So if you can follow even the smallest of laws, you'll follow the greatest of laws. It's like getting an order. How can a brother trust you to take an order? Like if I need a brother to take care of something small, like let's say I need a brother to go pick up some water for the school or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And he can't even complete that order. How can I trust my brother to have my back in a time of need? Let's say I get jumped, or let's say my car broke down and I'm stranded and I need some brotherly help right now. But you couldn't even carry out the small order. What's going to happen when Christ come back? Because Christ's going to hand out orders. Believe that, okay? And some of them you might not like. Guess what? Suck it up. All right? Deal with it. Okay? Because this is our king we talking about right now. Yahushua Mashiach. All right? What you got, Crop Shot?
I got a scripture basically for what you say.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
In James chapter 2, verse 10, it says, "For whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all."
That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Could you read that one more time, please?
The book of James, chapter 2, verse 10. "For whosoever shall keep the whole law."
The whole law, okay.
"And yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all."
There you go. The water for that. That was the perfect point. Damn. But yeah, man, like we need to understand what it really means to be righteous. Because like when you're righteous, you're not going to give into addiction. Like I know we've been kind of like going on, it's sad that we still got to keep talking about this stuff. Like, like these OnlyFans, like what the sister brought out earlier, which was crazy. What was it called? My Star or whatever? Like the urge to be a sexual deviant is so strong with our brothers and sisters. It's like, let's say they do cancel OnlyFans, right? Let's say all the sexually explicit content does go, right? You want to know what the sad part is? We already called it last week. They're going to open up another platform. There you go. And you know what's crazy? It wasn't even a sister that did it. It was a brother. Right. You want, and if I could say something real quick, not to get too off topic, the reason why we have whores is because we as men allow it. Right. Whether you want to believe it or not, if we didn't love whores, there would be no whores. Right. There wouldn't be women out here shaking their behind, half naked or fully naked, showing their breasts, their ass, all that stuff. There would be none of that because they wouldn't get no views. They wouldn't be getting no money. It's like somebody's daddy somewhere is giving them money to do all this stuff, right? Because guess what? They're addicted to that sexual content. Because you gotta really let's really think about that real quick. You are spending money. You are charging up your credit card, your debit card, whatever it is, to pay to see a woman take her clothes off, or even worse, have sex with somebody else. Right. And you getting off to that. And it's so strong that you're spending money. That money could have went to anything else. You could have bought some groceries. You could have invested in something, right? You could have saved up to go to school or get a car I don't know, get a 4 for $4 at Wendy's or something. I don't know, like anything else you could have put that money to, but you decided to pay $9.99 a month for some whores OnlyFans account.
Right.
It's just, it's disgusting, man. You know, that's not righteous. Like to be righteous, like what Karab Mashak just brought up with that precept, the Thwada again for that. That was an excellent precept. You know, to keep the whole law, man. To keep the whole law, okay? If I could, real quick, matter of fact, can I get let's see. Oh, can I get Proverbs chapter 20, verse 7? You got anything not to stop before we go to that?
For keeping the whole law?
Just being righteous and, you know, like having a sense of integrity, you know, like your character.
Right. That's the counterpart to wickedness. You know what I'm saying? To being in that wickedness, you have things that are like, you know what I mean, addictions and wants and needs and stuff like that. You should have that same want and need to be righteous, and it should overthrow the feeling of wanting to do wickedness, because you know what I mean, if you're addicted to cigarettes, you're gonna want to keep smoking cigarettes, but you have to want righteousness more than that feeling of, matter of fact, I do got something. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta usually all addictions are all mental. You know what I'm saying? The addiction usually, you know what I mean, unless it's like heroin or something like that, like, you know what I'm saying, it's, like I said, something that affects your body. Mm-hmm. Usually all addictions are mental. It's not really something that you really need to have, but your mentality is where the addiction is at. Your mental state. So I mean, if I can, I mean, I know we're pulling up a precept right now, so I'll just read this precept on my own real quick, and that'll be Salakia.
Before you get to that precept, I just want to answer the sister's question.
Oh yeah, we don't get to that. You want? Let's finish off real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because we like at the end right now. But okay, so I'm gonna get in Jeremiah 17 and 9. Jeremiah 17 and 9, real quick. I'm just gonna get this out real quick. Oh yeah, I got it right here. You can just stay where I
stay with that one and
on Jeremiah 17 and 9, the heart is deceitful above all things, and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So in the Bible, you know what I mean, the heart is the mind is the heart. You know what I'm saying? Right. So in your mind, it's saying your mind is deceiving you. Your mind is deceiving you into feeling like you need these particular things which you don't need. You know what I'm saying? So it's more so your mentality. It's your mental state. You know what I'm saying? And it's saying that your mind is desperately wicked. When you're addicted to something, your mind is desperate for those things. It's desperate for those things. So you have to be desperate to be righteous. You have to instead of deceiving yourself, like we got to earlier, you have to feed yourself day in and day out, all day and all night, the truth and sincerity. You know what I'm saying? But so that's all I got.
Yeah. And if you could read Proverbs chapter 20, verse 7, if you could, Baba Kashaf.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 7. The just man walketh in his integrity. Mm-hmm. His children are blessed after him.
So it says his children are blessed after him. We went over this a few times, right? But I never actually brought it out in a precept. You know, your actions, your character, your integrity, what you do does reflect on your children. If you wicked as hell, guess what? Your children gonna be wicked as hell. That's just how it is. But if you live in righteously, your children are going to see that. Okay. Now I know we get into this discussion a lot with, you know, celebrities today, right? Who do just all types of just crazy things, right? Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, you know, that's just to name a few. Lil Nas X. Now I'm getting tired of him. He just all over the place. I'm tired of hearing that damn song. But you know, I'm like, for real, I hear it every single time. I'm so tired of that. But anyway, like, it is your job as a parent to raise your children righteously, right? And to also protect them from wickedness. You know, you should be angry that these celebrities, especially when I say these celebrities, I'm talking about our people, because those are our people that are doing these things. The internet, I mean, anybody can get on the internet. Kids know how to work a cell phone and an iPad before they even know how to talk. All right. You can put the child lock on if you want to. The internet is so accessible. Half of the stuff they show on YouTube. You don't even have to go looking for it. It's all over the place. And your children are going to see these things, man. Somebody's child somewhere is seeing Lil Nas X and saying, "Oh, that's cool." Somebody somewhere, somebody's daughter is watching Cardi B kiss like 3 girls at once, and she's half naked. I didn't even realize this. It was what was the video?
So like I said, we gonna answer it right now.
We
got it right now. We just gonna end this.
Yeah, no, we gonna get to you real quick, sis. I'm just finish this up real quick. Yeah, somebody's daughter somewhere is watching Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Saweetie, my goodness, City Girls, all that stuff. Like, they're watching that and they're saying, "Oh, I want to be just like her. She's so pretty. Oh, she has so much money. She's so successful. I want to be just like her." Your daughter is looking at that, right. Okay? And your sons are seeing a half-naked woman by the age of like 4, okay? And they're influenced. Like, oh, like that's a woman? Oh, like your son don't even know how his rod work yet, and he already getting sexualized with all this stuff. So what you think gonna happen to him when he's a teenager and them hormones start jumping? He gonna be ready to go with whatever he can get his hands on, whether you tell him to or not. Right. Okay. This is why. Could you read Proverbs 20:7 real quick, and then we'll move on for that.
Proverbs chapter 20, verse 7. The just man
right.
walketh in his integrity.
Integrity, right.
His children are blessed after him.
His children are blessed after him. It is your responsibility as a parent, to take care of your kids righteously. Okay, if you're not going by the law, statutes, and commandments, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're not living righteously, and you're not teaching your kids to do the same. Okay, and you see it all the time, like kids grow up and they just become they be in jail, like all them women on them OnlyFans, those are somebody's daughters. Like I don't I don't know what y'all thought. Like they didn't just poof out of nowhere. Those are somebody's daughters. That's somebody's auntie. That's somebody's sister. That's somebody's wife. Like that's what really be getting me. Like, first of all, shame, Salakia for my vulgar language, was shame on y'all niggas for out here pimping y'all women, bro. Like for real. Like I said earlier, like there would be no whores if men didn't love whores. Right. But here you are, like it be a sister with a man, and she got an OnlyFans account, and he just be pimping her out. Like, yeah, go ahead, babe, go take. Why are you showing? First of all, that's supposed to be for you, brother. Right. Just you, nobody else. Right. Okay. Don't be pimping out your women like that, man. Right. All right. And Salakia, we'll move on to the sister's question. So to answer your question is bluntly. Oh, Salakia, you got something, Krav Shop?
Oh, Salakia, I was just gonna make a statement.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna basically say you have to get rid of the root or the problem first.
Right.
Before you move to like the overall situation. The problem is money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's that lust going back, because lust isn't just sexual. It could, like you said, it could be that money. Money could be an addiction. Right. That's a great point. Money could be an addiction.
So like, if I may also,
go ahead.
Then it also leads to brothers pimping out, daughters and all that.
Yeah.
They love money so much. If we didn't have money, none of this shit would. So like, none of this would really be going on.
Nah, that's facts. That's a heavy point. Money can be an addiction too.
So did you have like a closing statement as far as closing this out?
My bad.
No. You good. You Swab. To Salakia, to go to the sister's question. So
I mean, like before we get to the question, like
before we get to the question,
yeah, because we can do the question and just like close out after that.
We'll close out after the question.
Okay. Did you have like a closing segment as far as like addiction?
A closing segment for addiction? Oh well, I mean, but I guess before I answer the question, we went over addiction, a little bit of like what integrity and righteousness really is, man. Like it's your character, man. Right. And if you are addicted to something, you really need to get in class, because like what you said earlier was like I'm glad you broke it down the way you did, like that 12-step program. Like that's Esau's way, okay, but like we said before, we've been following the ways of the heathen forever, and guess what? It don't work. Right. We still strung out on drugs. Right. We still getting pimped out. We still on the streets, like doing all types of dumb stuff, man. So obviously it's not working for us, right? So how about you get in class and actually learn the law, statutes, and commandments that our forefathers have made a covenant with the Most High for us to follow? Because if you do it, you don't need a 12-step program.
Right.
You don't even need to recover from addiction, because you already know to battle it before it even gets that far. Right. So I'll close it out with that. And Salakia says, I know I said we're gonna get to your question. So first and foremost, I don't know who told you otherwise, but the Most High did not die and descend into hell. I could tell you that right real quick. That did not happen at all. I don't know who told you that. And just so if I can go on to the Edomites real quick. Let me tell you something real quick. Edomites, Esau, right? This is why we say that Esau is the devil that the Bible speaks of. A devil, like I don't want you to think like like a devil is like Satan with horns. Like that's not what it is. No. Right. A devil is a deceiver. That's actually the definition for a devil, a manipulator, a liar. And who is the biggest deceiver on the entire planet? It's Esau. Now, we've been in other oppressors' hands beforehand. We talked about Egypt, the Africans when they sold us into slavery. Just to make a quick comment on that. We're not African for anybody else who may be watching. Africans are Hamites in the Bible. They are a completely different nation. Right. Okay, we fled to Africa at one point, yes, but we were two different nations. And guess what? Africans, they know that. When you hear that term, blacks sold blacks into slavery, no, Africans sold black Hebrews into slavery. They don't like us neither. They were oppressor at one point too. Muslims, for any brother or sister, I pray you don't follow Islam. You see what the hell going on over there. They falling off of planes and stuff. But, they, first of all, Allah tell you to kill yourself, okay? And Muslims, they own black slaves, just so you don't want to follow any of that stuff. So Esau, yes, you're absolutely right. Esau hates us, okay? Esau has always hated us from the moment that Jacob was given the blessing, and Esau was blessed with the sword. He swore, right? Esau swore. He said that I'm roughly paraphrasing. Our father. Because Esau and Jacob were brothers. They were actually twins, but Esau was the firstborn. And usually with the firstborn, that's the one that usually gets the blessing. Like, what is it? An inheritance, right? Yeah. Esau has always hated us. He swore to smite us. He said our father is going to be in a time of mourning. That's why we said earlier, I believe it was Psalm 65:21. His words were smooth as butter, but a war was in his heart. That's Esau. Okay, so Esau gonna get his. Or was it? I believe it's in Deuteronomy. I could be wrong, but it's like I'm paraphrasing. He who put into captivity shall be put into captivity. We were put into captivity. Esau did that. So there is no saving Esau. Don't even worry about Esau. You just worry about your people and your people only, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Edomites, they're gonna get what's coming to them. I'm just paraphrasing again. For Esau is the end, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth. We gonna get our time. The kingdom is coming. You just gotta be sure that you're on the right side. That's all I got for that. You got anything for that?
I mean, if I can get into So the whole situation with Christ going into hell and taking the keys from hell, if I can get into that parable, it's a parable. You know what I mean? It's a parable, and what Christ taking the keys is Christ putting us in a position to be able to get back into the covenant. You know what I'm saying? Him taking the keys of hell, because hell is a condition. Right. Hell is what we've been going through ever since we decided to turn away from the Most High. We are living in hell as we speak. You know what I'm saying? We are in a captive land, being raped and murdered every day. You know what I'm saying? And it's been like that since our oppressors got here. You know what I'm saying? So hell is a condition. It's not really that lake of fire that the Christian church taught us about. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's not where Satan rules in this fiery pit and all these souls are down there being tortured, and it's not that. Hell is us here on earth at this time period right now, being under the curses that the Most High put on us for turning away from His laws and His commandments. That's the us being here in the ghettos. You know what I mean? Being in poverty is hell. Us being killed by cops, and you know what I mean, it being like a normal thing shown on TV, like it's like an entertainment type of thing. Mm-hmm. That's hell. Us being put into slavery was hell. Us being hanged and women being raped and children being thrown into rivers and crocodiles as crocodile bait. That's hell. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's a real, actual, true hell in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And we're still in hell until Christ returns, and we'll have to continue to keep having to suffer until Christ returns. You know what I mean? When Job was going through his suffering, he said, you know what I mean, he was in hell. You know what I mean? When Jonah was swallowed by a huge fish, you know what I mean, he was in hell. So hell is a condition. It's not so much so that fiery pit. So the parable is speaking of Christ dying for our sins, gave us a chance to get out of hell. Mm-hmm. It gave so Edomites are not in hell. Edomites can't be in hell because this is their heaven right now.
Hey, most definitely. So
you know what I mean?
If I could, real quick, not to cut you off, that was, you absolutely right. Hell is a condition,
right?
You know, hell ain't a, you know, fire and brimstone with Lil Nas X on a stripper pole dancing on Satan. I mean, that is hell. Don't get me wrong, but like, right. that's hell. Don't get me wrong. Right. Just to even like see that, but you're absolutely right. Esau is in his heaven right now.
Right, he's in heaven.
He's chilling because like we when we do something like you said something that's gonna stick with me for a long time, man. Like you said, Esau is a lawless people, man, and they absolutely are. They don't even follow their own laws.
Right.
Like when they commit a crime, they get minimum sentence, if that. Like when a police officer wrongly kills and murders a black or Hispanic person, you know, yeah, they might get punished for a little bit, but it's like a little slap on the hand.
A little slap
they get a little suspension or, you know, a little couple of years, if that, right? But no, don't let us do something wrong. Right, oh no, we're going to jail. We're getting the maximum sentence, or we're getting killed right there for fitting a description. So they're not in hell.
It's like, if I may too,
go ahead.
It's a man right now. I forget his name though. He's in jail right now. He's in prison for life for stealing a soda pop. Back in the days of the 60s, I think, or something like that, he stole a soda pop and he's in jail for life. That's hell.
If I can comment on that too, real quick, you gotta remember at one time we were getting killed for looking at a white woman.
Right.
For looking, like she could just be walking in our view, you would get killed.
As a show too. It'd be
exactly.
A show.
Right there. They would tie us at the back ends of cars and drag us in the middle of the street. That's hell for us.
Emmett Till. A white woman lied and said that he whistled at her. You know what I'm saying? Man. That's hell. That's real hell. Having to live in those circumstances, having to keep your head down when you walk past a Edomite or a Caucasus Mountain residential person, when you had to keep your head down and you couldn't look, and if you was to look up and peek, if your kid was to look up and peek, they'll kill the whole family. That's hell.
That is hell.
That's true hell. You know what I'm saying? That's we're in hell as we speak. As long as these oppressors are in charge of this place, you know what I'm saying?
Ain't nothing to look at. You damn right.
Right.
So it's like exactly. I hope that answers your question. What you got, Swap?
That should be just what you brought up right now about how they did our ancestors for looking at white women and all that stuff. That should further discourage our people that you can go and date outside our race.
There you go. You're right. Interracial marriage is a sin. And there you go. That's not a good enough example for you. There you go. So, you know, I hope that answers your question, sis. So we're about to close the class. So,
let's do it.
Water for everybody that was tuning in. So with that, Majum, just me and the brother up here.
You good?
Real quick. Use water. Oh my goodness. That's what I did. Sorry, it's me. Sorry.
La Yasharada,
which is to Israel. Sorry, it's me. Sorry.
from the gut. Right from the gut.
Oh boy, Salakia.
That was it. That was it. That was it.
Getting rusty. Sorry, it's me. Sorry. Oh, we got to do it. So,
I want to, brothers, line up real quick. I'm gonna salute the Torah real quick.
Something like that. We'll come right here. Yeah, probably turn the camera. So,
Right there, perfect.
that's good. Yeah. Shalom Yabashim Shabrak Ya.
Yabashim Yashabrak Ya.
Shalom Yabashim Yashabrak Ya.
Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yashabrak, yeah.
Back to you. All right. Imagine upon Yahakwadam, which means to rise and face the east. Sisters, remember to have your heads covered. Brothers, remember to have your heads uncovered. So let me just get back to it real quick. I got too much stuff. So here we go. All right, we're going to be getting started with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. The Lord's Prayer. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Ayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakutka. Taba'ah. Batazaka. Ayah. Aisha. Barataza. Kawa. Ayah. Bashemayim. Latanyanawa. Lakum. Call. Yawam. Wasalaknawa. Kabawaknawa. Hasalaknawa. Wala'ah. Tabayanawa. Manasaiwa. Abor. Kabashaynawa. Ayun.
Yeah.
Ride.
Kaya.
Laka. Hamalakwa. Wa'ala. Watapara.
Alayim.
Aman.
The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
Akap, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashem.
Yahushua. Babakashah. Nathanyanawa. Hakat. Lapara. Call. Makala. Madawa. Hakat. Latahar. Matazariam. Hakak. Laquayam. Hamathiam. Hakat. Al. Rakawat. Tama'ala. Lagarasham. Ba'ashem. Yahushua. The water. Aman. Hakak, the power in the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Yahweh Shai.
Wa Ma'aka'ala.
Wa Ma'aka'ala.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa Alahayim.
Matazab Ya'ab.
Matazab Ya'ab.
Alawap Yahana.
Alawap Yahana.
Ha'alawapim.
Ha'alawapim.
Hasaranyim.
Hasaranyim.
Hakwatazayoyim.
Hakwatazayoyim.
Hakoyayoyim.
Hachayoyim.
Waha'akwathyim.
Wa'awathim.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
The water.
The water.
Amen.
Amen. The blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
The angels.
Commanding General Yohanan.
Commanding General Yahana.
The generals.
The generals.
The captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Asha'ah.
Ayunya.
Ayunya.
All.
Ahariam.
Mayun.
Mayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Isaiah.
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 Ma'am.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Isha.
Isha.
Shemayim.
Shemayim.
Ratazah.
Ratazah.
Ayathan.
Ayathan.
Lamawat.
Lamawat.
Ragalka.
Ragalka.
All.
And
Nanawam.
Nanawam.
Shamarka.
Shamarka. Anah. La'ah.
Nanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yayashun.
Yayashum.
Shamamar.
Shamamar.
Yasharala.
Yasharala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazalka.
Tazalka. Ayad. Yamyamka.
Yabamam.
Yayamam.
Hashamash.
Yashamash.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Wayarath.
Ra'arath.
Balayala.
Balala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamarka.
Yashamarka.
Makal.
Batal.
Rai.
Rai.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Athnapashka.
Adnapashka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Taza'athka.
Taza'athka.
Wabawa'athka.
Wabawa'athka.
Ma'itha.
Ma'itha.
Wa'ai.
Ma'ai.
I will.
Psalms 121 in English. I will lift up mine eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Lord.
My help cometh from the Lord,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth
will
thee
not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade
The Lord is thy shade
upon thy right hand.
upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee
The Lord shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy
The
soul.
Lord shall preserve thy going out
The Lord shall preserve thy going
and
out
thy coming in
and thy coming
from
in
this time forth
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
All.
All.
Damaya.
Damaya.
Laka.
Laka.
All. Lakarash.
Lakarash.
Wa'all.
Wa'all.
Lashaqwa.
Hashakwa.
All. Kaya.
Kaya.
Hana.
Hana.
Oyebika.
Yebika.
Yahama.
Yama.
Yawan.
Yawam.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al.
Al.
Amaka.
Hamaka.
Ya'ayamwa.
Ya'ayamwa.
Sawada.
Sawada.
Wa'ita.
Waita.
Yaitazawa.
Yatazawa.
Al.
Al.
Tazapawanyaka.
Tazapawanyaka.
Amarwa.
Amarwa.
Lakawa.
Yakawa.
Wanakakina.
Wanakakidim.
Magalia.
Magalia.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yazakar.
Yazakar.
Shum.
Shum.
Yasharala.
Yasharala.
Awada.
Awada.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Naitazawa.
Natazawa.
Laba.
Laba.
Yakadwa.
Yakadwa.
Al Yaka.
Al Yaka.
Bar Yath.
Ayawa.
Yakarathwa.
Yakawathwa.
Aliyah.
Aliyah.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Wa.
Wa.
Yashamai.
Yashamai.
Alayam.
Aliyam.
Mawa'aba.
Mawa'aba.
Wahagorium.
Wahagarium.
Gabal.
Gabal.
Wayamawan.
Wamawam.
Wayamalak.
Wamalak.
Kalashah.
Kalashah.
Am Yeshabya.
Am Yeshabya.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gum.
Gum.
Ashawar.
Ashawar.
Nalawa.
Nalawa.
Imam.
Imam.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Zarawai.
Zarawai.
Labunya.
Labunya.
Lawat.
Lawat.
Salah.
Salah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Laham.
Laham.
Kamudyam.
Kamudyam.
Kasaya.
Kasaya.
Sara'ah.
Sara'ah.
Kayabyam.
Kayabyam.
Banakal.
Banakal.
Koyashwan.
Kayashwan.
Shab Madwa.
Nashadawa.
Bayan.
Bayan.
Dara.
Dara.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Dama.
Daman.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Dama.
Dama.
Shayatamwa.
Shayatamwa.
Nada.
Nada.
Yamawa.
Yamawa.
Kairab.
Kaira.
Wakaza Abba.
Wakaza Abba.
Wakaza Ba.
Wakaza Bab.
Wakatazor.
Wakatazor.
Manai.
Manai.
Call.
Call.
Nasa Yakamwa.
Nasalakwa.
Ashar.
Ashar.
Morwa.
Amarwa.
Salakia. Nayara Shah.
Nairashah.
Lanawa.
Nanawa.
Af.
Af.
Nawa.
Nawa.
Alahayim.
Alahayam.
Alahayim.
Alahaya.
Shayatamwa.
Shayatamwa.
Kagogala.
Kagogala.
Kwash.
Kakwash.
Lapunya.
Lapanya.
Rakawa.
Rakawa.
Ka'ash.
Ka'ash.
Tabaira.
Tabaira.
Ya'ira.
Ya'ira.
Wa.
Wa.
Kalahaba.
Kalaba.
Talahat.
Talat.
Ahorium.
Ahayam.
Kun.
Kun.
Taradatma.
Tawadatma.
Irika.
Wasa Irika.
Wabasa.
Wabasa.
Wapathka.
Wapathka.
Tabahalam.
Tabalam.
Mala'ah.
Mala'ah.
Panyahum.
Palayam.
Kwalawan.
Kalawan.
Waya.
Waya.
Kwashwa.
Kwashwa.
Shamka.
Shemka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Slakia. Yabashwa.
Yabashwa.
Waya. Bahawa.
Ayai.
Waya.
Waya.
Kaparwa.
Kaparwa. Waya.
Badwa.
Abadwa. Waya.
Daiwa.
Daiwa. Kaya. Atha. Shumka. Yahweh. Labadka. Idawam. Al. Call. Haratazah. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
O God.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel. Against thy people. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kasan, which perished at Endor. They became as done for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb. And like Zaid. Yea. All their princes as Zabah. And as Almunah. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Oh my God. Make them like a wheel. As a stubble before the wind. As a fire burneth a wood. As the flame set the mountains on fire. So persecute them. With thy tempest. And make them afraid. With thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name. O Lord. Let them be confounded. And troubled. Forever. Yea. Let them be put to shame. And perish. That men may know. That thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high. Over all the earth.
Sorry, face me.
Shalom, Israel. Water for tuning in. Hey, shalom, Christ, sir.